by. And when they pulled the car over, there was some sort of exchange of gunfire. They fired at the suspect fired at the police fired back, and 2 officers were shot. They are looking for the suspect, but there is some belief that the suspect may have been hit by some gunfire from the officers. So now the police are checking local hospitals to see if there are any victims of gunshot wounds. Perhaps if that's the suspect. But right now there's just a heavy police presence here, and police are just on scene and they're trying to figure out exactly what happened.
All right, if you're just joining us, we're on the phone with our senior producer, Shimon Propopaz, who's at the scene of a police shooting in the Bronx here in New York City. Of course, this is all coming on the heels of the tension between the mayor and the 2 officers who were executed here in New York City recently. Apparently, these 2 officers tonight their injuries are not life-threatening. They're taken to St. Barnabas Hospital. We're told they're in guarded condition tonight, and they're being x-rayed and CAT scanned. Anything else from the scene? They're not obviously discussing the condition of the officers, Shimon, on the scene, correct?
No, they're not discussing. I mean, I would say right now they're just going into there's a food choice, a store just up the block here that I can see where they're going in and out of. They'll be gathering evidence, looking at surveillance cameras. There's close to 2 dozen officers standing in the middle of the street here, just sort of going over stuff. And it's a pretty calm scene. They're just sort of talking, and their crime scene units have just arrived. So they'll process the crime scene, sort of go over whatever evidence. They'll look for shell casing, anything else, along the lines of sort of forensic stuff. But we know that one of the officers was shot in the elbow, another was shot in the back, and taken to St. Barnabas Hospital here in the Bronx. And like you said, with non-life-threatening injuries. And we did expect some sort of press conference, later this morning, perhaps, later tonight into the morning once the NYPD figures out exactly what happened here.
All right, Shimon, as we continue on with you, again, what time did this happen? And take us through exactly what you're hearing, either from eyewitnesses or from sources about what happened at the scene then.
Well, there are very few people on the street right now. I walked up to a couple of people to see if they've heard any gunshots or anything, and so far I haven't been able to find anyone who's actually seen or heard anything. So this happened within, I would say about an hour ago or so. I was told police were responding to a robbery call at the store here. They had a description of the suspect. They went to pull over the car when during that time when they were trying to pull the car over, there was an exchange of gunfire. Right now, they believe there's a chance that the suspect may have been shot as well. But at this point, it's just a lot of different officers responding. There are more officers coming to the scene. And right now, it looks like they're all standing around trying to gather evidence, look for any video, perhaps from the store or anywhere here on the corner, to see if they can identify a suspect.
Okay, Shimon.
I just keep seeing more and more police officers arriving.
All right, Shimon, stand by. Again, I want to update our viewers. You're looking at video. This is at the scene of a police shooting in the Bronx here in New York City. 2 police officers shot earlier, one in the arm, one in the back. We're told they were taken to a hospital in the Bronx, St. Barnabas Hospital. And they're in guarded condition this evening. Also speaking to our producer there on the scene, he's saying that they believe that the suspect may have been shot as well, and they're checking with local hospitals to see if there are any victims of gunshot wounds in the hospital. I want to bring in John Cardillo, who joined us earlier. He's on the phone. He's a former NYPD officer. He was with us earlier, and he used to patrol that area. And I can imagine what you're going to say. This is a danger that New York City police officers face.
Yeah, they certainly do. And you have as much information as I'm actually getting right now from cops on the ground. I was listening to you and your previous guest, and what you guys are reporting is very accurate to what I'm being texted from officers in that command right now. And so I unfortunately don't have any more info except that the good news is that over the radio it was not likely, meaning the officers were not likely to die, which is a very good thing.
Yeah. And so, John, as we know, just before Christmas, 2 New York NYPD officers executed in Brooklyn. And then there's been, obviously the tension between protesters, between the mayor,